Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Not a Sidekick Productions YouTube channel. I'm your host, Lee Zephyr here, also known as Leemus, here to do a new video, kind of a new series that I've had in the mind to do to start for some time that I wanted to try. So we're just going to do it, and I am going to be ranking fan castings. Don't really have a name for the series yet. But yeah, as bluntly as I can. So I love fan casting. I love coming up with for comic books, fictional stories, movies that that maybe don't need remakes, but are going to get inevitably remade anyways. And when they do, I like to give my 2 cents on who I think should play them. I'm a big fan of cinema and cinematic things. Um, Myself and my brother-in-law are constantly coming up with like, oh, let's recast, fan cast this movie, and then we'll each do our list and then get together and talk about them. And that's something fun that I would like to maybe eventually do for the channel and be able to go over some of those with you guys. I thought it would be fun because when I was looking some of this stuff up in a lot of these rumors, you see so many lists, and there's so many of them that like there's people that are being fan casted that I'm like, man, that's a good idea. I really like that one. That one's a good one. I didn't think of that. And then you got ones that's just like so far out of left field. You're like, what are these people thinking? I mean, I respect everybody's opinion. I like the ones I'm going through today. I respect it, but doesn't mean I'm always going to agree with it, especially knowing, having read a lot of comics about the character and studied up a lot about the character's history and knowing about the character. Um, and my shirt may be an indication a little bit there. And if it's not, let me just show you what we're working with here. That's right. Today we are talking about none other than Doctor Doom, Victor Von Doom himself, and here he's venomized. And this is the new, I pre-ordered, just came out, the Monster Hunter Mech Strike. Looks amazing. Got the big old like wings, monster wings. I also have some Doctor Doom comics I was going to get down, but I like my flow up there. I'll show you another time. So yeah, needless to say, I'm a huge fan of Doom. I've stood by the fact that he is my all-time favorite comic book villain. We could talk about the time. Obviously, some of the older comics where Doom's kind of the funny, not funny, but funny. Like he has some good lines, some good quips. That's the word I was looking for in comics. It's quips. Um, the line where he's blowing some kind of trumpet or horn, and he says "Doom toots as he pleases." That's always a good one, classic. The one where he refuses to use the door, and when Spider-Man asks him, why didn't you come in through the door? And Doom says, "The door, like a peasant." He's doors are beneath him. The time Namor went to ask him for help after it was too late, and he informs Namor Doom is no man's second choice. You got the time when they criticized Doom about his ruling, about how he rules, and he says the quote, one of my favorite quotes that he says, when my people lay down, or before my people of Latveria lay down each night, when they get on their knees and they pray to whatever God it is that they worship or choose to pray to, they thank him for the land and the food and all this stuff. He goes, and then they thank him for me, for being their ruler and stuff. And I'm just like, he's got you there. Or my all-time favorite Doom quote, he kind of finally has what he wants, which is like total rulership. But because he's Doom and he has had moments of anti-hero-ship, and he's still got a bit of good in him, to quote Star Wars, there's still good in him. So at one point when he's walking through his big illustrious garden thing, and he has this moment of self-reflection, and he says the line, "It would seem in my perfect world that I've created, I am the one flawed thing." Like, he's got everything he wants, but he's still, he finally has it, but he's not necessarily happy. He's still him at the end of the day. And it's just, I don't know, quotes like that. That's like deep thought stuff. Moving on. So who are we going to cast to play this guy? It's been teased at. Fantastic Four's been teased at for a while in the MCU. So we've got to now cast this guy that is known for such profound quotes and deep inflection, but also quotes as use the door like a peasant and Doom toots as he pleases. But also someone who strikes fear into the hearts of many of the MCU heroes. Um, he's such a tightrope walking character to balance between the hero and villain line. But that being said, he is at the end of the day one of the best villains. He has fought the Avengers, the Fantastic Four. He's fought multiple heroes. And yeah, he's been beaten before, but he's also done beating before. He's actually, won before. So without further ado, I've found a couple lists online with a bunch of actors' names that are fan casted. Some of these are like from Reddit and some of these from other sites. I just kind of found a whole bunch of them thrown together here, and a lot of them probably can cross over and have the same actors. But I got two lists here that I'm seeing online that I want to go through and give my thoughts on some of these fan castings, and then at the end I will give my top 3 fan casting choices to play Doctor Doom. And then y'all hit subscribe and stay tuned to the channel, so whenever we do find out who our Doctor Doom is going to be, I'll give you my live reaction video and give you my thoughts then. Then you'll know after who the real casting is. So let's hold out hope here. Okay, so first one here, looking at. Okay, first one here, is Jamie Bell. Now I'm not real familiar with his work. Apparently, he was in Rocket Man and the Adventures of Tintin. I watched Rocket Man, the Elton John movie. I don't remember him, to be honest with you, but to be fair, I think the main focus of that movie was Elton John, which is Taron Egerton, and Richard Madden. I know played a big part in that movie. Who ironically is also in the MCU as Icarus in the Eternals. And I've heard rumors that Taron Egerton has been having talks with Marvel, but that's a whole nother fan casting we'll get to next time. So it says he also played the Thing in the 2015 reboot of the Fantastic Four. And I do remember him in that, but that movie is it's a minefield to go through, but not because of the actors. I honestly thought most of the actors in that movie were fine. I thought he did a good job as Ben Grimm. Because of that, though, I don't know how much I can see him in another Fantastic Four movie turning around and playing Doctor Doom. But again, anybody's got more experience with his work, more familiarity with his work, may be able to say a little bit more on the subject. Patrick Warburton. I don't like this one. I love Patrick Warburton. I don't love him as Doom. And again, maybe it's just because I have seen him in nothing but comedies. Rules of Engagement, obviously, Emperor's New Groove, The Tick. It's just he's known for that signature voice and for comedy. Lemony Snicket's, he did great in that. But that's just it. I feel like I would have a hard time because Doom, again, he would be great for those like Doom toots as he pleases and stuff like that, like kind of the quips. But Doom has a lot of serious. Like I said, he's got a lot of self and introspection. He's got a lot of depth to his character. And you need somebody that can do that more quiet, calm intimidation and kind of oozing that power. And I don't feel like I'm going to get that from Patrick Warburton. But now I could be surprised. Maybe he does have it in there and I've just not seen it. But personally, Okay, so this next one I'm gonna skip some of these to come back to. I will say this next one they have on here actually is in my top 3 of my fan casting, so we'll come back to that. This is an interesting one. This next one's an interesting one. So they got Luke Evans. I love Luke Evans, first of all, and I think here's my thing on it. Luke Evans, I think, would make a really good Doctor Doom. But I could also see him playing a lot of other characters really well. Uh, like I said, Luke Evans, he hits it out of the park about every time he does anything. So like it's one that is not necessarily in like my top picks, but if he was picked for it, I wouldn't be upset. I could see him doing a good job with it. Werner Herzog, great actor, way too old, way too old. I mean, I love him as an actor. He was just recently in The Mandalorian. He's got that really creepy voice. He does have that very like commanding kind of like villainesque vibe. But you want somebody. So you want somebody that can go along with kind of similar to spoilers. What's coming up next is spoilers for Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. If you've not seen that, go see that and then come back to me because I got to talk about the Fantastic Four being introduced in that movie. Specifically, here come the spoilers. Step away now. John Krasinski as Reed Richards, which I love. I love that. I was one of the people that was begging for that fan casting, and it did come true. And I'm hoping that he stays our main MCU Reed Richards. But even if he don't, I want somebody along that age line where he's that perfect age to where he's not like too young, but he's also young enough that he can kind of carry for a while with the way Robert Downey Jr. and Chris Evans and Chris Hemsworth have carried this franchise for a while. You want somebody, especially in the Fantastic Four, and with Doctor Doom, he's going to be a recurring villain, has to be. So you want somebody with a bit of youth that can play that character for a while and really get into that role, but you also want somebody again that's going to match. My mindset, I went with John Krasinski for my picks. I wanted who I thought would best be opposite John Krasinski as Reed Richards' college chum, who kind of college rival and adversary and arch nemesis kind of thing. And so Werner Herzog to me is just a little bit too old, and some of the other actors they've got on here I think are also too old. Okay, now we're getting into some more interesting ones. Adam Driver. I really like the idea of Adam Driver for Doctor Doom. My only complaint is it would feel a little bit on the nose, feeling kind of similar to like his Kylo Ren. Kylo Ren had like that dark, brooding kind of that like power hungry type role, but he also obviously had like an anti-hero, kind of like a redemption arc at the end of the Star Wars movies. And I didn't dislike Kylo Ren, and I liked Adam Driver. I thought he did a great job, especially with that kind of redemption arc and going from a bad guy to kind of like a tortured bad guy to coming around in the end. And all that would be good for Doctor Doom. And again, I wouldn't be mad if he was cast as Doctor Doom, but I just do think it is a bit like recasting him in the same kind of shell as Kylo Ren. And that for me would be a little bit outside of my preference for what I would want them to do. The next one I really like, but I could see the next one. The next one on here is Viggo Mortensen. I actually really like that choice. Viggo, obviously, my favorite character in Lord of the Rings, Aragorn, and he's done a lot of other movies. Was it A History of Violence? He was also in the recent The Green Book. He's also in Captain Fantastic. He's been in a lot of really good movies, and he's a really good character actor, and he's got a lot of depth and range. And I would enjoy seeing him come to the Marvel Universe. I think it would be very interesting to see kind of his take on Doctor Doom. So that one could be up there for me. I don't hate that idea. He's got a lot of depth. Lastly on this list is one I've seen a lot of people ask for, and I gotta say, I'm okay with it. The last one on this list is Cillian Murphy, who played Scarecrow in the Batman Begins movie. He was in 28 Days Later. He was in Inception. He was recently in A Quiet Place Part 2. Again, just a phenomenal, like, heavy hitter when it comes to acting ability. And he just has that look. He has that look that again kind of sells what I'm looking for. And he'd be that. I think he'd be that right age group to kind of be opposite John Krasinski. Which would be my only complaint about Vigo is I love Vigo, but he's getting a little bit older, so I don't know for sure how well that one would work. But good, I don't know for sure. Okay, so this next list has a couple actors' names on it that I want to touch on. Christoph Waltz, uh, great actor. Again, a great villain actor. Like, if you've seen Inglourious Bastards, you know what I'm talking about. Or if you've seen the Bond film that he did, you know what I'm talking about. He's a great villain actor. He has that great depth and gravitas. He doesn't quite have the look or the age range that I'm looking for my personal preference for Doctor Doom. But fair enough. John Hamm, again, John Hamm does have the look and he does have quite a bit of acting talent, but I don't know. There's something about John Hamm that I'm not 100% sold on him playing Doctor Doom. Hugh Laurie, they suggested Hugh Laurie, House. He's a good actor, but no, I can't see that between age group, looks, acting. I just I yeah, I'm not going to spend much time talking about that one. Dan Stevens, I really like Dan Stevens. Um, I wouldn't be offended by Dan Stevens playing it, but I think it's an okay choice. I don't know. I remember watching the series Legion with Dan Stevens, where he it's like an X-Men type series with mutants and stuff. And Legion in the comics was the son of Professor X and son of Charles Xavier and stuff. So I don't know. Even though I know technically Legion's not MCU canon, it would be hard for me to not see him kind of in that kind of role or as that kind of character. Uh, so I guess that's where I'm at on that one. Michael Fassbender, he would have been great as Doom if he hadn't already played Magneto for so many years. And I mean, we don't know for sure how the Fox universe, if that works as a multiverse now, how that's going to work. But Fassbender, I will always just see as Magneto. And I love Magneto, and I could talk about Magneto for a while. He's my second favorite villain of all time. So, like, it would be hard for me because I would just see Michael Fassbender as Magneto playing Doctor Doom. Rami Malek. I don't hate Rami Malek, but I'm not a big Rami Malek fan either. Um, I'm just I know I've seen a lot of people requesting that fan casting for Doom, and I'm just not. It's not 100% my personal cup of tea. So there you have it. So that was my thoughts and opinions on some quick rundowns. Next, I'm going to give you guys my personal top three teams. And again, no disrespect. This is all my opinions. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion. Like I said, I'm about to give you my top three casting, and you may not like it. You may disagree with my opinion, but again, it is just an opinion at the end of the day. Having different opinions is what makes everybody special. What makes the world unique. Be kind of boring if we did all agree on the same thing and the same people and the same choices. So I welcome any other opinions and thoughts. Let me know in the comments below who you would pick. Without further ado, here are my top three. Starting at my number three is one that's a bit unconventional, and I've seen a lot of people suggest this actor for a different Fantastic Four character. But I'll show my homework. I'll show my work, as they say. So for number three, I'm going to say Joseph Gordon-Levitt. And I know what you're thinking. I'm crazy. I sound crazy. I think I'm crazy a little bit. But let me explain. So first of all, he's right at that right age group and acting ability group as far as in kind of level, like with the John Krasinski thing, especially one of the most recent things I watched him in was the movie Project Power on Netflix, which is like a superhero, dark and gritty kind of superhero movie with Joseph Gordon-Levitt and Jamie Foxx. And in it, like again, he's at that right age to play, and in that he kind of played like this tortured kind of redemption arc, kind of anti-hero type vibe, this grizzled detective cop dude. Um, so between that movie and then he has played a villain before in things like, I know it gets a lot of hate, but the G.I. Joe movies. I really like the G.I. Joe movies, and he played Cobra Commander in those technically. I know technically he wasn't Cobra Commander till the very end. He was Rex, but he did a good job, and he had the really that commanding, powerful, and he had the voice. Like he changed his voice up a little bit for that role, so I could see him behind the mask having the given that voice, that commanding Doctor Doom voice. And he's a good actor. He's got a lot of depth as an actor that I think a lot of people, it goes unnoticed because of some of his earlier work and stuff as a kid. But that's my number 3. Number 2 is one that I've seen a lot of people request. It's on a lot of both of the lists that I looked at, and it's one of my favorite underrated actors. Is Nikolaj Coster-Waldau. I hope I pronounced that right. Best known for playing Jaime Lannister in Game of Thrones, but he's also played in so many other recent projects like The Silencing and Shot Caller. Good movies. Good actor. He's got a lot of depth. Again, if you've watched Game of Thrones, then you already know exactly. Then you can agree with me. He's already ready for. He's Doom ready because his arc in that was similar to the arc like I'm talking about for Doom. It wasn't exactly the same character type like I was talking about with Kylo Ren, but it was a similar enough arc to where he was the bad guy. He was just a stalwart bad dude, a villain through and through. Then you find out these reasons in the backstory, and he has this character growth arc where he kind of becomes a hero and kind of redeems himself, but then he's still kind of a flawed hero and kind of a tragic hero. And so, like, these are the things that I think would make him like be able to embody Doom. And he's got the look. He's got that kind of European look and name and vibe that'd be perfect for the ruler of Latveria. And I just think he's such a good actor. So that is my number 2. My number 1 was also on the list that I looked at, and that is Timothy Olyphant. Best known for playing Raylan Givens in Justified. He was recently in The Mandalorian and the Book of Boba Fett. You may know him from Scream 2 and tons of other stuff. He's just a really good actor. I'm a big fan. He was in Santa Clarita Diet on Netflix. I forgot about that one. Again, he was in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, one of my favorite movies. I got the poster for over here. So yeah, he's just a really good actor, and he has that. Again, he's mostly known for playing like this calm, collected kind of cowboy vibe, this like cool kind of swagger type deal, which I think is perfect for Doom too, because Doom has that confidence. That's the thing. Doom saying stuff like "I'm no man's second choice." You know, when my people go to bed, they think they're chosen deities for me existing. You know, you need somebody that has that calm, cool, collected. But then you need somebody that's a bit unhinged. And if you've seen Scream 2, then you know what I'm talking about there. And some of his other movies, even and shows and stuff he's worked on, he can play a villain pretty good. He can do the good kind of unhinged, kind of crazy look in his eyes. The Crazies, another good Timothy Olyphant movie. But so you know what I'm talking about when I say, like, I think he has that best. And he would also be perfect for playing opposite of John Krasinski as Reed Richards. My homework, The Office, they literally played rivals. They brought in Timothy Olyphant as a kind of a cameo character where he is a rival paper salesman and stuff. And so it's one of the things I thought about. I was like, who's going to be good versus John Krasinski as a rival and an arch nemesis? And of course, you had to go to The Office. I mean, it's where John Krasinski, you know, that's what he's the most known for. And I remember how good they played opposite each other and how good that rivalry was and how funny it was. But you could turn it from funny into serious and a role like this, giving him the green cloak and the mask. He's going to have that iconic voice under there. So there's my top 3. Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Nikolaj Coster-Waldau, and Timothy Olyphant for Dr. Victor Von Doom. So Thank you guys so much for joining me. I hope you liked this video. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Let me know your thoughts and which characters or actors you would like to see play Doctor Doom down in the comments below. Let me know if you guys are excited for the Fantastic Four to finally arrive in the MCU and their villains, their rogues gallery. Let me know what other fan castings you'd like to see me do, or rank and break down. Give me some of your all's fan castings, and I'll break those down. I'll give you my thoughts and opinions. All opinions are welcome, though. Thank you guys so much.